お帰りなさいませ。
What an episode we had of 86 today. Oh my gosh, episode 9, Sayonara. I have taken a bunch of notes, but I just don't feel like I'm going to be able to do this episode justice because I really enjoyed this episode. So let's just start off, right? We start off the episode with tons of voices, tons of tanks, and Shin's smiling as he's about to go and fight his brother. He tells them to leave, Shuga and the rest, but they are like, no, I'm obviously coming with you. Stop being an idiot. And he's like, fine, you guys, I told you guys not to come. And then he's like, yeah, same to you. You know, they're kind of having their little back and forth. We get a little bit more of the opening, but the opening now has a little bit more changes. So now it's literally only the 5 of them in the opening. We've already had like people show up more and more they died. But even I don't think I noticed the part where like when Shin walks back over to their fort and he turns around, the decreasing number of soldiers, the group that we have with Spearhead. So they are like being they're when I say they're a ton of tanks, a ton is not enough. Like they are like it looks like hundreds. Actually, a ton would be enough. There's tons. There are like thousands of these things just shooting at them. I'm surprised they didn't die in a matter of seconds. But plot convenience at least for that part. They are being separated away from Shin, so they're over by like a wall and they're being pushed away. And Shin is being separated because his brother's mech is trying to kill him himself. Like he does not want anything else to kill him. He's trying to do it himself. And him and Shin are almost having like this weird game of trying to kill each other. Obviously, Shin's brother is trying to kill him to turn him into a mecha, so that way they can be together and he can protect his little brother. And Shin is trying to put his brother to rest. And they're both, well, Shin's having like this weird crooked smile while he's doing it, like while he's trying to kill his brother. And his brother, obviously, we have the hologram faces of his many emotions at the same time. And they're running out of ammo now. Like they're back there trying to shoot and at least support and distract with the other Legion, and they are running out of ammo. That's where it's getting to in dire situation. They're like, we have enough, thankfully, since we packed some, but like we're gonna need replacements. We're gonna go, and then all of a sudden, we get like a ton of fire. Like it looks like a ton of fire. It's about to rain from the sky, and like we see like a ton of shots. I think with Anju's, was it like my parents would say scope. That's not the right answer. Radar, with a radar, right? But then it turns out the fire is coming down on the Legion. Like there's tons of shots coming down on the Legion. And then Vladilena goes, hey, let me use your eye real quick, Raiden. And then she uses his eye to see. We watch all the explosions hit the Legion. And I cannot tell you how much I mentally cheered while seeing her do this. She took action, and you know what? All right, now so I'm trying to hold myself back from simping this entire review. So we're not gonna do that right now. We're just gonna make sure we call her Major Vladilena. All right, because she made a major W today. And like so after that happens, I literally wrote in my my notes, my girl, yes. Anyways, Raiden starts to chew her out because he's like, do you know that handlers that do that don't do that because they'll go blind? And what about these shots? Are you crazy? You know what happens? She's like, why should I give any crap about the rules if they're not going to actually follow the rules they establish? And I just, I was 10 out of 10. That's some 10 out of 10 energy. She's right. Why the freak would she care if they don't care whatsoever, like at all? And we get Vladimir being like, oh, I didn't do it for you guys. I was just trying to protect myself in my town. So we got a little Vladilena tsundere moments, right? And Shin, his brother's mech, as they're just fighting by himself, gets like metal goo arms. Like he goes to shoot him and he's about to take him out after cutting his vent to get his shot to go in. But it's protected by the metal, the liquid metal that like catches the bullet. And then grabs Shin and I think throws him, and then Shin's like basically unconscious, and his brother is like trying to reach for him and is like, oh, I'm here for you, Shin. Now we just have to get you out of that flesh body and then you'll be fine. And you see all his flashbacks of like him holding his brother up. And then after that, Vladilena and them, they're talking about like, oh great, we got all those things done, what about Shin? And then she's like, oh no, Shin's not picking up. Shin. and they're freaking out and they're wondering what they're gonna do. Earlier, as we saw from Shin's mech, I think shots on his regular armor, on his brother's armor, just does not work. So that's the only reason why Shin was going for the vent, because it was the only place that would have any vulnerability to it, which I thought was a very cool choice. Like, it's the obvious choice in writing, but I still thought that was cool to watch. But then Vladlena's like, I have a plan. I just need you to trust me. Please tell me where he's at. And at first, they didn't want to listen. And Karina, we see her face like she's like, I don't trust this girl to really try to save Shin like this. And she allows herself to trust in Alba. She allows herself to trust Vladilena. They all go to Shin's brother's mech. They latch onto it with grapples. And then I think her mech specifically is the one giving Vladilena like the view of where he's at. And then they shoot out missiles at the area. And Shin's brother's like, you guys are gonna freaking kill him? Like, you're gonna go all the way this far to kill him? I'm the only one. I'm protecting my brother. And you see this, like, symbolism of him, like, physically in the way blocking his brother. And you see a young Vladilena asking him the question, like, you really want to protect your brother? And he's like, yes, I do. And he's like, she brings up the fact, like, there's no way you could do that when you've already done this. And when he turns around, it's again like almost like a dead Shin, like a dead kid Shin, with a flipped over mech on the side. And after that, he gets shot with the duds. So they turned out to be duds, which was like super smart. All the missiles don't explode. He just blocked the shot because she knew his character. Since he's still mildly in control, I guess. He seems to be more controlled than the other things we've saw so far, like the black sheep. He is able to actually have some freedom of thought, it seems. And after that, after he takes a shot, Shin gets up after everyone screams at him to get his butt up. And after Vladilena is like, you're going to die with... Your plan was just to die with your brother? No, get the frig up. He gets up. He jumps over to his brother's mech. His brother's mech grabs him, and he's like trying to reach for him symbolically and literally. And Shin apologizes to his brother, and then he shoots at his mech, and his brother realizes that he's not that little boy anymore, and that Shin's now grown, and this isn't the same kind of person he's trying to save anymore, and he's now part of the problem in a sense. And then he goes, I'm sorry. He like touches his face with one of the metal hands, says, I'm sorry, and then obviously, dies. And then Shin is just in tears. Like, this is the first time we've seen him like break down. He's killed his brother, and he also got some reconciliation with his brother, who he thought just wanted to murder him and kill him and hated him for the reason that he choked him out and blamed him for this situation. But again, this was a very emotionally stressed young man who was picked for the draft after his parents already died. So it's not that he's justified in his actions, it's just more understandable than just that. And Shin wasn't aware of this, and Shin wasn't aware how much he was just trying to find him and probably make up for what he's done. And even now, in his twisted state, that's all he was really trying to do. And so Shin, having to come to realize his brother didn't hate him, broke him down, So we get Shin breaking down, everybody's letting him cry, and then we get to the flip side. So we have to figure out, like, how Vladilena even, did this, because she just broke rules. And it turns out we got a little bit of cold-blooded Vladilena. And she's going on my mild simping again. She's going on the waifu list. Like, she's going top tier. I'm loving this character. All right, that's all I'm saying. This character is very high, very high. So we get her at Aneto's house, and she goes, hey, Aneto, you're gonna help me do this. And then she's like, no, I'm not. Like, I told you to get out of here, and I never wanted to see you again. And she's like, oh, that house you used to live by? Yeah. Well, that actually had a little boy named Shin. How did you know Shin's name? Well, it turns out Shin is the leader of he is Undertaker. What? That's right. And if you don't help him, you're going to abandon him 3 times. And I said, dang, oh my gosh. Wow, she had that kind of energy today. She came for blood. She meant what see, this is like the best part is I was worried they do this thing where she'd still be all like, oh no, I still can't help. And then like it'd be the end of the series and they just happen to get out alive and like her lesson was she should take action. No, she went out there and she blackmailed the person. And I know some people told me that they want Aneto and Vladilena to still be friends, but I'm gonna be real with you. She's surrounded by a ton of toxic people. She really doesn't need around her. Now, I'm not saying that Aneto can't have a change of heart since she kind of forced her to take action today. But the people she's surrounded by aren't really good influences. Like it's gonna suck because I'm gonna have to talk about the very end of this and what that implicates out of what I'm saying right here. But I don't know if I want her around these people. I would like her to keep doing what she's doing. That was some real cool energy right there. But at the same time, like, I don't know if she really needs these people around her, if that makes sense. Okay, so Aneto gets involved because she is now being basically blackmailed by Vladilena, which was amazing. And now she helps save her friends. Shin thanks Vladilena specifically when she turns around and goes, Aneto, you helped save them. She's like, no, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't do that. And then she gets up and turns around and leaves. She has like a bunch of two laptops on the ground. So Vladilena must have made her hack the mortars so she could shoot them off. After that, I cracked up. So this is a terrible joke, but I cracked up from the fact that we saw when Vladilena yelled, the power bar went up. And I just and there's this one phrase I think in a lot of I think it's like in a lot of anime send videos or something. I don't know where I'm getting it from, but it was just like the power of boners. God, gave him super strength. All right, I'm sorry. Anyways, so they're talking. They're like, great, we didn't waste that much ammo. I guess it's time that we can go. Like, we can keep going. And then all of a sudden, it like hits Vladilena that they're not coming back. They have nowhere to come back to now. If they go back, they die. So they're leaving. Like, they're just leaving the 86 district. They're going further ahead. And all of a sudden, she starts, like, she books it out of the room. She drops her hat. She's running downstairs, past people. She's running down the street. She's running in front of cars. She's, like, down by a bridge. And, like, I was watching the scene, and I was like, wow, a white-haired girl running, like, as far as she possibly can. And all I could picture was Echidna not being able to run at all, and then Vladilena acting like a marathon sprinter. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, no. And when she gets to the end, like, because she's too tired and she's stumbling at the very end, like she ran all the way out. She ran as far as she probably could take her at this point. And when she realizes and she has to stop to take her breath, they tell her, we're gonna have to go. We thank you, and then they leave. They said, we're finally getting out of the 86th district, and you see her break down into tears, and then you see her shout in tears, and it was really, really like it was really heavy. But at the same time, she got them their freedom. Like, she did the thing that I think deep down, after she's recovered a bit from her emotions, she'll be happy she did. She saved them. They have a chance now, in a sense. They found like a castle to be at, or supposedly based off the voice comms. And who knows, she might have given other 86 a chance to leave, especially since they just took down like a major shepherd. So now they can't adapt as much, possibly. And then having Shin and them a little further ahead of the 86th district, like, really might dent numbers and other things like that. We don't know what they can do with this. They could all die out. That's also another thing. Like, I'm not going to be all optimistic. This is still, more of a war anime. So there's a chance it could all just die without, like, being around. But it's just interesting to see how, like, her words were, don't leave me alone. And as I brought up before in another review, I don't know if you guys saw that one because I had to take those down for copyright. I said Vladilena seems like a princess by herself in a tower. Like, she can talk down with the other people that she's like that come visit her tower occasionally, but she is alone. And she has no friends because Aneto is, again, as I've said, I don't even know if I really want her around Aneto, but that's kind of for the writing and seeing whether or not her character can develop or change. And I only say that because there's a certain amount of spite with Aneto, and it's only spiteful because she's kind of jealous of the actions she's taken, which by itself isn't a bad thing, but because she acts on it in a petty and jealous way, instead of being like, I'm jealous, I hate the way that you're acting right now because it bothers me and it reflects on me, so I don't want to talk to you right now. That would be one thing. But her constantly trying to manipulate Vladilena and constantly try to threaten and scare her to act the way she wants is like toxic, is twisted. And if you didn't like the way that Vladilena talked to her, then you should definitely be not in the camp of her doing the same thing to her. You know what I mean? Or doing the same thing to Vladilena. Sorry, I used too many her. I just went pronoun. Instead of the like actual person. But yeah, no. So they finally left the 86th district, and she's all alone. And then we see the ending, and it's 5 birds flying off, which is symbolizing the group, I'm sure. And at the very end, we watch each bird disappear into the distance, and we're just left to see what happens with the next episode. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Leave a like and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Isn't Vladilena best girl? Because I'm going to tell you right now, she's best girl. Now I'm going to have to try to stop myself from posting a bunch of like just Vladilena screenshots on Twitter. And I'll catch y'all later. Peace. Baka Eagle out. Baka Brigade. Lightning Brigade.